Hey, how's it going, guys? Got a knife review for you this time around. What you're looking at here is the Ka-Bar Dozier. This was designed by Bob Dozier, a very well-respected knife designer, and actually wasn't looking to get this knife. I was just kind of surfing online and I found this knife and I thought I'd just give it a shot just because it was so cheap. This is listed as being under $20. In fact, I think if you go on Amazon right now, you can get it for $18.50 with free shipping. I think with free shipping on orders over $25. I should put that caveat in before you get disappointed. But yeah, $18.50 for this knife. And seriously, for what you pay and what you get, this is probably the best value around. I've yet to see a knife that delivers this much performance and for such an inexpensive price. Seriously, I would pretty much like let this knife hang with some of the more expensive knives out there. Just to give you a look, let me just open this up. This is a lockback design, and in case you guys were wondering, I'll use my Princeton Tech Quad headlamp here to light this up. How a lockback works is, just give you guys a shot. If you look in here, you see that black bar right here inside, right there in the middle? Basically that bar is straight and that's a part of the handle. And it's like this, and it provides resistance. Then you have the locking mechanism with this, which is this bar, and it rocks on this pin like so, and this part presses down on that black bar, and that's what gives the resistance for that button. Now there's a hook right here on this end that goes like this, like so, and then the blade rotates on this pivot screw like so, and there's another hook on the blade itself. Let's see if we can show you right there. It's like, light it up. I can show you right there. It's this piece right here, that's the hook, and basically what happens is the hook on the blade and the hook on the locking mechanism lock like this. Then when you press on the lockback, it releases this hook and then the blade can rotate. So I'll just open it up really slowly and you can see how this raises. This is going to catch on the hook on the blade and it's locked in. Now to release that, you press the button on the back and that releases the hook on the blade and it can freely rotate. That's basically how a lockback works. Let me just throw some statistics at you. This knife weighs 2.3 ounces. When it's closed, it is 4.25 ounces. I mean, sorry, it's 4.25 inches, and full open length is 7.25 inches with a 3-inch blade. The blade itself is made out of Oz 8A steel, and the Rockwell hardness is 56 to 58. So it's not the it's not the hardest steel out there. But for what most of the tasks you're going to need it for, it's perfectly fine. It takes a razor sharp edge and it's pretty easy to sharpen. Now, even though it's a stainless steel, Oz 8A isn't the best in terms of rust resistance, so this will rust if you don't take care of it eventually. So even though it says stainless, wipe it down and keep it dry whenever you can. The edge angle is 15 degrees, so if you were wondering, say you were looking at the knife like this, the edge angle 15 degrees would be like so. Now if it says it has 20 degrees, it would be even wider like so. Just to give you an idea of what they're talking about when they're talking about edge degree. The grind is hollow grind, which means it curves in slightly, and it's pretty relatively high in relation to the blade itself. And the handle is made out of Zytel, which is basically just a hardened plastic. You have a lanyard hole here in case you would need it, and the pocket clip can be unscrewed and mounted on either side for left or right-handed carry. And speaking of left or right-handed carry, there is only a single thumb stud, which you can actually unscrew if you have a torque spit right here. Unscrew it and you can rescrew it on the other side if you're left-handed. Would have liked to have ambidextrous thumb screws, but for the price that you're buying this, I'm sure that this was probably the cheapest way for them to go and still make a quality blade, so I don't really mind it. Great jimping here along the spine, locks in my thumb very well, and the way the handle is shaped, you can see like a slight curve right here, means that my fingers are less likely to slip up onto the blade area. Locks in very well. The blade itself, in terms of action, unlike a lot of the Gerbers I had, as soon as I got this out of the box, opens very easily. It just is a smooth opening right there. No, I didn't have to hold this for a couple of days and open and close it. Just right out of the box, this guy, brand new, opens very easily. Locks in solidly and tight. There is no play side to side, and more importantly, no play up and down. Now if there was play side to side, that'd be easy enough to adjust because there's a torque screw bit here. It's easy, you can just tighten this up a little bit just to take care of any wiggle. So I like that. I like having screws and options for tightening or loosening the knife blade. Speaking about the pocket clip, If you look here, unlike most knives I've seen where you screw it in on the same side that the clip is, this actually screws in on the other side. The cool thing about that is if it screws in on the other side, a lot of people, when the screw is on the same side, it has to come out from the bottom in order for you to access the screw. Since the screw is on the other side, why not have the clip, instead of coming from the bottom, come from the top and then fold over? By having it do that, even more of the knife can ride deeper in your pocket, sort of like how a SOG Flash 1 moves. In addition to that, I would just get rid of the lanyard clip. I mean, when I get a knife like this, I want to clip it in my pocket. I'm not going to stick a lanyard through it. It's a nice option, but I don't need it. So move the pocket clip even higher and then have it also come from the top. By doing that, you could have the entire knife riding in your pocket and most people wouldn't even see it. Would like the handle to actually be shorter. You'll see here, there is sort of, I would say, about 1/3 of an inch of space that's not being taken up by the blade. I mean, it would just save a little bit of handle space, make the knife a little bit more compact. However, even saying that though, when this is fully open, gives you a lot of real estate when you're holding this knife. Now I have small hands, but people with medium and large size hands would probably appreciate that extra handle space for more control and more grip on the blade itself. So that's just my little thing. It's made out of Oz 8 steel, like I said before. It's a decent steel, it's a medium steel, and it's pretty popular with a lot of companies. I mean, even Benchmade uses them on their red class knives. So it's not like a cheap, crappy steel. You'll see them a lot on Cold Steel and Spyderco knives, some of the older Spydercos, and SOG still continues to use them on their knives, so it's a decent steel. Speaking about the knife itself, in addition to its uses, there are a variety of different handle colors. This comes in black. You can also get it in forest green and a desert tan, and it even comes in a pink. Not to be cute, the pink ones are actually a little bit more expensive because when you buy the pink handled ones, some of the profits go towards breast cancer research, so it's a pretty good cause. There are a variety of different blade styles, so there's even a version with a thumb hole if you prefer a thumb hole over a thumb stud. I just happen to prefer a thumb stud. And there are different blade versions. This is the Hunter style blade. There is also, let me just pull out the Ka-Bar catalog. There is a clip point blade, which means the spine just comes down a little bit sooner and more aggressively. There's the thumb hole variety, and there's the spear point. Now there's a lot of confusion between the folding Hunter and the spear point because if you look here, the Hunter, the blade goes straight, whereas the spear point kind of curves outward a little bit before going in. I don't know if you can see it off this picture, but it does. Let me see if I can find that picture again. Where is it? Oh, here we go. You'll notice here, I don't know, it's kind of small picture, the blade sticks out a little bit. There's a little bit more belly before it comes in onto the spear point blade. Now, even though this is called the folding Hunter, it's still a spear point design, just because if you put this in relief, you'll notice that it's symmetrical between both sides. So this is a great piercing design. However, I prefer drop point blades just because of the strength, and to compensate for that, because any kind of dagger style tip is going to be fragile, it can snap easily. If you look here, they made sure that it was thick along the spine all the way up until the end when it has to taper into the tip. So I like this thick spine. It helps to compensate for the tip design, so I don't have to worry about the tip snapping when using this. So yeah, that's just basically some of the details for this knife. I've been carrying it every day for the last couple of weeks now, and I absolutely love it. It's lightweight. If you look here in profile, it's pretty thin, and even though it's a little bit bigger than my Gerber Easy Out Junior, I mean, you're getting a lot of blade. I live in California, where if you're carrying a pocket knife, the blade limit is 3 inches, and this is exactly 3 inches, so this is great to have. It's a good everyday carry knife. It's very lightweight and it's very durable, and seriously, I would stack this up against some of the more expensive knives out there. Seriously, for 18 bucks, you can't really go wrong. Get one and try it out. I'm sure you're gonna like it. And plus, for that cheap of a price, I mean, you can treat this thing hard and not worry about it because you can always get a new one. But as it is, it's not a cheap knife. It's quality in terms of design, and I just love using this thing. Oh, by the way, let me just talk about the opening and closing really quick. People don't like lockbacks because they say it's too hard to open and close one-handed. What I can do, which I don't like with other knives, is you can do what's called the flick. There is a generous amount of ricasso underneath here, so if you have this knife open, just press on the button and flick your arm forward, like so. You're not going to cut your finger because this area right here is unsharpened, and then you can just close it one-handed. So one more time, just press the button, flick it forward, it catches like so, then adjust your grip and then close it like that. So that's the easy way to close it. So that's my review of the Ka-Bar Dozier design. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a good day.